RDTA tanks. They've been around for a while. What we're going to be taking a look at today here is the latest tank put out by Steam Crave. It is the Aromamizer Supreme version 2. This little puppy is a flavor. Oh my god, I can't even think of the way to describe this thing. This thing is just fantastic. But enough said. Let's take a run down to the build deck and take a look and see what this thing is like. I think you're going to enjoy this. This little love child is fantastic. Okay, folks, here we are down on the build deck. We're going to be taking a look at this little puppy, the Steam Crave Aromamizer Supreme version 2. This is the update of the venerable Supreme that Steam Crave put out about a year and a half ago. This is the package that you're going to get when you get it from the vendor that you've purchased it from. Depending upon whether or not it's Steam Crave or otherwise, this is how it comes from the factory. All right, on the front here you have the usual identification as to what it is. Plus it also has this beautiful little drawing here of how the airflow and the juice flow of this system works. Okay, so we're going to turn around and take a look here now at the sides. You have the Steam Crave website designed by BJ. Cheers, BJ. On this side, you have the 3 versions that this tank comes in: stainless steel, matte black, and matte gunmetal, this being the stainless steel version. On the back, you also have, yet again, the Steam Crave website designed by BJ, and on this side, you have the model number of this tank. On the back, you have a brief description of the tank itself, the UPC code, the CE marks, Steam Crave's scratch and check authenticity code, and considering this came directly from Steam Crave, not necessary for me to do. So let's take a look and see what we've got inside. You open the package by lifting the front flap here. It is held in place by a magnet type of closure, and inside you have the star of the show, the Supreme version 2. Let me just move this around here so you can get a good look at it. Yeah, I got some fingerprints on the glass. Oh boy. I'm really doing good. Okay, well, let's put that to one side. See what else we got in the package. Now, you have these 2 single coil plugs here. They're ceramic on the top with your standard silicone plugs that go into the juice flow control, the juice flow holes. However, this one here has a little hole here in the center to give you a little bit extra air coming from the side that you're blocking up. This one here, however, completely blocks the airflow. So we're going to take a look a little more at these. These things really work nice, but yeah, we'll take a look at them a little bit more. Okay, in here you have your usual grub screw extra O-ring packets. Now in this one here, they have black hardened screws. So that way, if you have a little problem with these things stripping and stuff like that, those hardened screws will actually work a lot better. Okay, the ones that come in here in the tank itself are standard stainless steel screws. So I'm going to put that to one side. You get the extra glass for the tank. And in the bottom, you have your, excuse me. You have your Allen key, sticker, and your manual. Now, on here, it gives you a brief introduction, product information, what you'll find in the box, precautions, a complete exploded diagram of the components of the tank. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. This is whiting out pretty much. How to fill it. Okay, let's see if I can get that there. On the back, it gives you the Aromamizer family, all the different tanks in the family. How to convert this into its dripper mode. We'll get more into that in a few minutes. But yeah, this is not only a tank, but it's also a dripper. It's an RDTA dripper. And suggestions, etc., etc. So we're going to throw all this back in here. Sticker goes in there. Put that in there. That goes there. Put this away. I'm going to leave out the Allen key. And I'm also going to leave out these two little plugs here so we can take a look at them a little bit more. All right, let's take a look at the star of the show here. All right. Now, we have here a 510 drip tip. Now, this is not your standard drip tip that has the O-rings on it. This is a press fit drip tip. Now, when I first got this in, this was jammed in there pretty good, and I had a darndest time trying to get it out. But now that it's been in use for a while, it kind of is little, yeah, it don't fit too well. Not to mention the fact you'll also notice that this is very, very close to the top of the tank here. Tell you the truth, I really don't like this drip tip. I really don't. Okay? This is the type of drip tip I prefer. All right? As you can see, it's been well used. It's a little bit longer, straight top drip tip. Not only does it keep my mouth away from it a little bit, but it also produces a nice, secure. You can't get the vape doesn't come out of it very easily where it isn't supposed to come out. Okay, and it keeps your lips away from it. So yeah, this is the kind of drip tip that I like to use on it. Now it makes it a little touch taller, but yeah, not that much. All right, so I'm going to put that to one side because that's the one we're going to be playing with here. Now, since I got this here, let's take a look and see exactly how big this thing is. Zero that. Make sure that's zeroed out. Now, I'm going to measure from the base of the tank to the top of the tank, not including the 510, and we're looking at 44.75 millimeters tall. And we're looking at, here at the very base, we're looking at 25.1 and a little touch more diameter. So you're talking about a 25 millimeter tank here. All right, so let's take a look here at the top. This is your top cover. And the top cover here, as Steam Crave usually does, has some very nice cross-hatched knurling on here, which makes it very easy to take apart. And once you get it off, you have two O-rings on the inside here. One to seal the top here to make sure that it doesn't turn around and leak juice all over the place. And down here in the bottom, you have another O-ring in here that seals against the top of this to ensure that none of the juice that's in this tank here gets into your airway and floods out your coils or gets into your pie hole. Okay? So, yeah, this is really, really nicely made. Okay? And here you have your chimney. You have your two nice, big, humongous kidney-shaped fill ports. And down here on the toward the bottom, you have your airflow adjustment. It continuously spins. There's no click stops or anything like that. You go from full open all the way to fully closed, half open, 3/4 open, back to full. Directly below that, just like on the Plus, you have your juice flow control. Now, you have here, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, there is two, yeah, there you go, right there. That little laser-etched dot that's there, okay? Now, that little laser-etched dot is your index mark. That index mark lines up with this open padlock symbol, meaning the juice flow control is open, or the closed padlock symbol, meaning that the juice flow control is closed. Okay? And it has positive stops there, so you don't have to worry about continuing or getting it all messed together. It has the O-rings on this thing are really nice and stiff, so you don't have to worry about this thing leaking. The tolerances on this thing are fantastic. There's just a very tight, slightest little bit of space here between the bottom of the glass retainer and the airflow, but that's only if you force it. If you're just using this normally, there's no space there at all, so you have no issues. I have not had any problems with this thing leaking juice in any way, shape, or form. The O-rings on this thing are super tight. Now here on the bottom, you have a nice 510 pin. It is not flat. It is not floating. It does protrude ever so slightly. Let's see if we can get that there. Bring that up. Maybe you can see it. Maybe you can't. Nah, the focus isn't going to work on this thing today. Yeah, that's a little problem. I've been playing with this thing. But yeah, the base here, 510 pin. Now this 510 pin does adjust. You can adjust this without making having any problems with the insides of the tank itself. All right, so yeah, this is when you sock it down, you can just sock it down a little bit there, and it's protruding far enough. Let's take a look at the base, inside of the base. Grab the base ring here and the juice flow control and turn like so. As you can see, you got a nice beefy O-ring there that seals the top of the juice flow control. You also have another really beefy O-ring inside here, which goes here against this portion of the build deck and completely seals it, preventing any juice leaking out of it. All right, now let's take a look here at the juice flow control. Now, as you can see here, you may be able to see. Actually, let me get this, and this little probe here makes it a little easier to see. Now, this fits in here. Oh, it did. Oh, crikey. All right, this is your juice flow control here. All right, this whole thing here. This is your juice inlet port. The juice cut from the tank comes in from these openings here through this opening here, down into the bottom here, spills in through here, and then comes up through the little port, through the little juice flow inlet ports here in the bottom of the build deck. All right. Now, when you have this in the open position, like it is right now, the juice flow comes in here, and up. When you have the ports locked, as you can see, it completely closes that off. There's no way for juice to get from here, from the tank, excuse me, from the tank to these inlet ports here. I'm doing great today. Jeez. Yeah, it completely blocks this off, so that way there's absolutely no way for juice to get in there, and completely seals it off. Okay, so that's how your juice flow control works, like so. And there's positive stops there. As you can see, these little nibs right here, this one right here, and this one right here. These are positive stops. They're hard stops. When you turn this thing, it stops. When you turn this here, this stops. No more pins like the old Supreme did. That if you looked at it hard the wrong way, the pins disappeared on you. Yeah, no, this has those hard stops like they came out with in the Plus. Okay? Now, here is the build deck. Standard velocity deck, hexagonal grub screws, silicone O-ring here, which meets up with the inside here. Now, just like in the Plus, you have this tab here that juts out on this side and on this side here from the build deck. and that mates up with this little notch here, as you can see, that notch there and this notch here in the tank, the atomization chamber itself. Now when you put this in, if you don't get that notch, that little notch there with that notch there lined up properly and clicked into place like that, this build deck is going to stick out far enough that when you try to put the base on, it's not going to fully seal, which means that the juice flow is going to come up through here, get past this, and it's going to come right out your airflow here. You have to, just like with the Plus, make sure that that thing is fully seated in those notches. If you don't, you're going to have an issue. So when you put this in, turn it until you hear that click, and pressing it in at the same time, and you know it's fully seated. This thing will not leak after that. I have not had a problem with this thing leaking at all. Likewise, I didn't have a problem with my Plus once I found out about this little notch tab. Before that, my Plus leaked like a sieve. Actually, more like a submarine with screen doors, but yeah, kind of like that. So yeah, you have to make sure that that's in there. All right. Now, there's your build deck. As I said before, it's a standard velocity deck. As you can see, it comes with standard stainless steel screws in here, but you have the hardened screws, which you can take these out and replace them with the hardened screws, so you don't have an issue. Now, this is as well as any standard velocity deck is. This is designed for dual use. Now, let's take a look at something here for a minute. Let's take a look and just remove this and pull this here out so you can just see. I want you to see that this is fully adjustable and does not in any way, shape, or form affect the positive screw, the positive terminal. You can see it's press fit in there. That's your positive terminal. So you have this adjustment. So if you want to put this onto something that needs a little bit of an extra, shall we say, length to make it fit, like I had a problem with this thing making a connection with my Rouleau RX200S. It was like 2/100ths of this 510 is like 2/100ths of a millimeter shorter than what the Plus is, or even the Aromamizer Supreme Light. So it's just a little bit shorter, and because it's a little bit shorter, I wasn't making contact. But once I made the adjustment here, I just moved it out 2 half turns or 1 full turn. This thing started making contact with no problems. So yeah, you do have that full adjustment there. All right. The juice inlet ports are right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have your blockers. Okay. Oh, where is it? Let me just get my tweezers here for a second. Now, you can try and put this thing in all in one piece, but the way I found easiest way to do it is just take your tweezers, put this in here, and put it into place like so. Jiggle it around a little bit. Oh, come on. You're going to do this to me now? Come on. A little VG on here doesn't hurt when you're trying to put this in. Okay, so you put that in. As you may be able to see here, the 2 little red nibs sitting there. That's where your fill ports are. Just likewise, you have the 2 fill ports on this side. So once you have this in there, it doesn't matter which one you decide to use. They both use the exact same silicone plug, so you just put that in there like so. Now, I've had this thing now for over 2 weeks. Well, No, actually 2 weeks now, exactly. And I found played with both of these single coil plugs, and I found that this one here with the hole for the increased airflow really works the best. This one here is absolutely phenomenal. You get the same kind of air intake that you would with using this as a dual coil without having to play around with dual coil. So yeah, if you decide to play with team single coil, use this one. Use this one with the airflow hole in it. It just works so much better. So yeah, we're going to take that out now like so. And I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them off to one side here. Now, because this is a standard velocity deck, I'm not going to sit here and do this on camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump cut right now from here to this thing fully coiled, and then we're going to do a jump cut for a wick. Because, well, actually, no, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to show you how to wick this thing. Because this thing here, just like any of the other aromamizers, you have to wick this thing right. If you don't get it right, it's going to flood on you. Okay, it's just the nature of the beast. Okay. Oh, one other thing before I forget. I do not have in my stable the Aromamizer Supreme Original. Okay, I have the light, but not the original. So I cannot verify this as de facto, but I have spoken with Maggie. Hello, Maggie. Cheers to you. And that the postless deck that came with the original Supreme is the exact same size as this and will fit exactly in here with no issues. Okay? So if you have the Supreme already and you want to play with the postless deck, you can just drop it right in and it's direct drop in. They do not have, as of this time, okay, any of the postless decks available on the Steam Crave website, but I've been assured by Maggie that they will have them by the middle to probably by the third week in May of 2017. They will have them available, and you'll be able to get them from Steam Crave and drop them in here. But as of this time, they do not have any. And they don't even have any up on... Well, they do have the page up there, but they don't have any available. So, yeah. All right, so let me cut out of here right now, and we're going to go and coil this. And then I'm going to come back here, and we'll show you how to do the actual wicking with this, all right? So, stay tuned. Okay, here we are back down on the build deck again. I have the... base of the Aromamizer Supreme all coiled up. I have here 2 coils, spaced Canthal A1 coils, 7 wraps, 3mm inside diameter, 26 gauge, 0.40 millimeter wire. And as you can see here, well, you might be able to in a second, it is coming out to 0.56 for the dual. Now let's bring this over here and just fire this up a little bit. And there we go. Oh, so pretty. Firing up from the inside out. All nice and pretty. Okay. Just blow that cool a little bit. And then check the reading again. And 0.53. 0.536, 0.537. Something like that. Cool. All right, so standard wicking on this. I already have this one here prepared to make it a little bit easier to show how this works. I'm just going to move this around like so. And pinch and twist. And feed this in. Now when you feed this in, always make sure you twist it. Okay, you want it snug. where the coil just starts to move. And because this is a space coil, you don't have to be like super careful with it. You just have to make sure that it's not shorting out against one of the posts or something. But yeah, I like having my wick nice and tight in here. First off, because it's nice and tight, that means it's not going to snap, crackle, and pop on you. You're not going to get any kind of spit back on it in any way, shape, or form. And it's just going to work a whole heck of a lot better. Okay? That's the way I like to run. So we're going to just move this around here. And let me get my tweezers here, and we're going to strip the outer shell here yet again on the second one, which I did not prepare because I want you to see just how I'm doing it, just in case, so you don't think I'm playing games here. And I like to cut a little arrowhead here on the cotton. It just makes it easier, so when you make this into your little cotton dube, it just makes the point come out. As you can see, it's already starting to form a nice little point there. So when you compress this cotton just a little bit here and then pinch and twist, you see how nice as fine a point you get coming through there, so you get plenty of room coming through, and you just pinch and twist and turn like so. Now, normally you wouldn't need to have this juice flow control ring that's on here, as I show here. On here, you just have the build deck screwed into the 510 connector on your burning tab. I put this here so as to give you an idea of where to give you landmarks, okay? Now, when I turn around and when I cut this, some people will cut it to the inside of the deck. I cut it for this to the outside, right there, okay? To the outside edge of the tank, like so. Snick, snick. Oh, these things are getting a little dull. Okay, just like that. Now, I'm just going to pull this off, pop this out, and put it back in here. Okay, just like this. This is how you would normally have the deck in here for when you're coiling it and when you're wicking it. Okay, you don't need to turn around. You don't need to have the juice flow control ring on here. I just put that on there to give you an idea as to exactly how to, you know, basically give you landmarks as to what you're going to do. Now, you want to separate out these wicks like this. Okay, so that way you have your 4 individual tufts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you want to take your tweezers and you just want to foof these things out a little bit. Just foof, poof, fluff them out nicely. Okay, that's a little bit too foofy there. I'm gonna give this thing a little bit of a trim and get this excess here. Now you take your tweezers, just grab your cotton like so, and twist and push. Now you want to fill up this cotton, the deck well here, right over those juice flow holes, those intake holes. Yeah, if you don't, this thing is going to leak like a son of a gun, just like any RDTA will. Put that in like so. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Okay. You want to make sure all this cotton is in here and it looks nice and pretty. And you want to take your tweezers and you want to open up a space directly under the coil, just like so. And you want to make sure that all the part underneath this deck here is covered, just like that, especially those juice flow inlet holes. Okay, and like that. All right, so we're going to take this and we're going to pinch and twist and turn and then stuff just like that, just like we did on the other side. Push that in like that. Come on. More thumbs today. There we go. Just push that in like that. Put that in there. Make sure we got a nice little bed of cotton there on the bottom. Make sure we have a nice big gaping air hole there. Take the cotton here. Make sure the cotton is off of that steel and is into those juice holes, because it was sitting on that steel bridge where the plus the anode is. It doesn't do any good. Doesn't do any good there. This is not a dripper, so having that cotton sitting there on top of that does absolutely no good. You want this cotton down into this juice well, so that way it will ensure that the juice does not come spilling out all over the place on you. Okay, there we go. All right, so put that there. Now, juice I'm going to be using today is Quack's Goose Juice. However, it's a variation I did myself. Now, normal Quack's Goose Juice DIY that you get from Quack's Juice Factory, if you set it up according to their DIY directions, will give you an 80-20 juice. This here is a variation that I'm doing. It's a raspberry goose juice. Basically what I did was I added some sweet raspberry, FA sweet raspberry to this, and in the proportions to bring it down to a 35-65, okay? The only reason why I'm using this is because I like it. I like it a lot. Otherwise, this thing will take with no problems a standard 80-20, 70-30. I'm doing this because I like it. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're just going to make sure this doesn't drip all over the place. We're just going to juice up these wicks. And put some on here. Soak in. Excellent. Soak in there. Put some in here into this well, so that way the ends of the cotton start soaking it up. Look at how nice and juicy those wicks are. And let's get a little more in here. Put some on here. Slurp it in, babies. Slurp it in. Okay. Put that in there. Put a couple of drops in there, like so. Bada boom. Bada boom. Here we go. All right, so let's just double check our ohms reading. 0.55. Excellent. I'm going to fire this a little bit. Put some juice onto those coils, fire it up. Bingo. All right, excellent. Okay, so let's shut that off. Now, here's what you got to do. When you have this on here, take the bottom of your tank where you got the notches. Put it on here like so, turning it. Oh, I'm getting juice all over the place in the process. And you want to turn this and keep turning it until you hear that click where those notches. Good stuff. Till those notches click into the tank. Then pushing against your tab, start turning it out like this. And keep pressing against it every time you turn it, because you want to make sure that that base is firmly seated there, and that those notches don't come open on you. Then you take your base and you screw this on here like so. Turn it back until you hear the clicks where the thread catches. Turn it on till the O-rings seat. Make sure that your juice flow control is closed. And screw that on a couple of turns. And take your juice and fill. As you can see, this is a nice wide opening. Oops. Come back here. Waste not, want not. Getting juice all over the place here. Come on. Making a mess today. Okay. It's all right. So we put that on there. It's all right. Put this on here like so. Put the top on. Put your own aftermarket drift tip. Like I said, I can't stand that one that comes with the tank, so I'm using my own here. And juicy all over the place. Juicy, 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 juicy. Come on, get off me. All right, so now we're going to open this up. And bubbles. Big time bubbles. Okay, so let's take this back up to FaceTime, talk about this tank a little bit more, and vapor, all right? Catch your topside. Hey, everybody. Oh, sorry about that. Here we are topside again. We're discussing the Supreme version 2 of the Aromamizer by Steam Crave. Now, I've never had the version 1 in my stable. Never got around to getting one. However, I do have this, the Supreme Lite, which is, for all intents and purposes, a scaled-down baby version of the Supreme version 1. It's built exactly the same way, or at least according to the videos I've seen from some of the other reviewers out there who had the opportunity to get a version 1 for review back in the day. This is built exactly the same way, right down to the little pins that are in there for the juice flow control to keep it from going spinning around like crazy. Okay, yeah, this is basically a version 1, only smaller, about 2 millimeters smaller. I got this, as I said, just at the end of the production on this, on the Lite. They had just stopped production and they were selling out all of their stock of the Lite in preparation for the version 2, tooling up for it. I wanted this because I couldn't get the version 1. I wanted this so that way when I got the version 2, I would be able to do a proper review on the version 2. Okay? That's the bottom line here. I've been rocking this now for about 2 months. And this is a fantastic little tank. Now, if you can find one out there for sale, I highly suggest you get it. Just be careful of those little pins for the juice flow controls. Okay? Just saying. This is a great little tank. Okay? I don't know how much you're going to find them out there for, if you can find them out there. I know you cannot get them from Steam Crave anymore. They're completely sold out of them. But we're here to talk about the version 2. Now, when I finally got the version 2 in, less than 5 minutes after I got this thing in, it was already out of its box and I was already tearing it apart. That's the anticipation level that I had of getting this thing in. The first thing that hit me was the design of the airflow inlets. It's exactly like the Plus. Exactly like the Plus, except that it's a little smaller than the Plus. The Plus being a 30 millimeter tank, this being a 25 millimeter tank. The juice flow control, the design of it, is exactly like the Plus. Okay? The build deck, while the Plus comes standard with a postless build deck, and the version 2 of the Supreme comes with a velocity deck. Okay, and it can use the version 1's postless deck, by the way, FYI. It's basically the same tank. It's basically the Supreme version 1 and the Lite hooked up and had a love child. Okay? It's smaller than the Plus. It's the same size as the version 1 Supreme. It uses the same juice flow control, same airflow control that the Plus has. Some of the other design features of it are very reminiscent of the Supreme. It can also be put in the version 2 can also be put into a dripper mode, a pseudo dripper mode, such as the Plus can, by removing the fill cap, the fill port ring, removing the chimney, removing the glass, putting the fill port ring directly onto the atomization chamber, the body of the tank. Put the cap on top after you've put in about 2 mils of juice in there. And now you have yourself a dripper with a very large capacity, juice well in there. Okay? Just like you can with the Plus. Now, the thing here is that because the Plus is a 30 millimeter tank, and the Supreme version 2 is a 25 millimeter tank, the 25 millimeter tank will fit on just about anything that you've got out there. Okay? Whereas the 30 mil Plus would fit only on something like this Lux or something similar to it. Okay? And it's also a lot lighter, easier to carry around than the Plus is. Yeah, it's a baby Plus. It's a baby Plus. Okay? That's all there is. Ooh, sorry. Ooh, ouch. I gotta keep my mind on what I'm talking about and what I'm doing here. So yeah, if you have a Plus and you've pretty much wished that you could take it out and about with you when you're going out, but you don't want to go carrying that big honking tank out with you, V2. There you go. If you want something smaller that will fit on just about everything that you've got, V2. Okay? That's it. That's pretty much it. Oh, before I forget, since this is like the 4th or 5th time I've recorded this, before I forget, the single coil mode that the V2 can go in, right now I have this thing here at 0.58 ohms, which means that each one of the coils that are in here would be at 1.16 ohms. Oh, excuse me, itchy nose. I'm rocking this at 47.5 watts, 5.66 volts. Okay? When you coil for single coil. You have to coil for less. So 7 wraps that I've got on here on each one of these coils, 26 gauge Kanthal A1, 3 millimeter inside diameter. You'd put this at about 3.5, 4 wraps. Should be about right. That would turn around and give you a single coil, roughly about the same ohmage. Okay? You put it in there. Now, when you have your choice of either the fully blocked coil blocker or the one that's got the hole in it. I've used both of them. I highly suggest the one that has the hole in it because it gives you a little more airflow. Your vape will be a little bit cooler. You're not going to lose any flavor from it, none whatsoever. But also remember when you're doing that, basically, like I said, I've got this at 47 watts, 47.5 watts, bring it down to about 30 watts. Decrease your wattage a little bit because you don't need that much power going into the single coil. You need the power for the dual coil, but not for the single coil. Okay? Just wanted to get that out there. The flavor that this tank produces is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm rocking this right now with the DIY version of the Quacks juice, the little version that I came up with, the raspberry I put in here. It's basically TFA raspberry sweet mixed in with the regular Quacks one shot that they give you, that you buy from them. If you buy it and you make it according to the directions that they have on the website, you'll come up with an 80-20 juice. This one, okay? Standard 80-20 Quacks Goose Juice. Works great in this tank. No issues. Wicking for days. Constant. No dry hits. Nothing. Okay? It works just fine. This, because it is a 65-35, works even better. And it tastes even better. Well, at least to this child. So, yeah, either way, this thing just keeps on wicking. Just keeps on working. I will put the URL down in the description for Quacks Quacks Juice Factory. I'm sorry, I'm just a little tired here. So that way you can go there and get it yourself if you want. You can play around with it like I did. It's absolutely fantastic. I'll also put the website on there for the one over in the UK where you can pick up from their distributor over in the UK for the Quacks Goose Juice as well. The 30 ml bottle of the food flavoring comes out to about $16.99. Out of that 30 ml, if you mix it according to the way they have on their website, you will come up with approximately 120 mils of the regular Quacks Goose Juice. If you mix it the way I did with the raspberry, you'll come up with about 150 mils. Okay? Just as an FYI. All right? Bottom line here. Absolute bottom line here. If you're looking for a tank that's small, that has the same attributes that the Plus has, but not quite so big, that gives the flavor that the Plus does, but it's not quite so big, then this V2 is great. Okay? Absolutely, highly recommend it. Double thumbs up. I'm not even putting this thing down to turn around and give you a thumbs up with this one on this hand. All right? Just so that way you can see how this thing wicks and how this thing works, the kind of cloud production that this thing has. Like I said, this is 47.5 watts, 0.58 ohms at 5.67 volts. Okay? white out. Okay? This thing just works. It chucks clouds. It runs nice and cool. The flavor is absolutely phenomenal. Now, I have been a custard fanatic since I was a little kid. Okay? I used to drive my mom crazy when she would go out to the deli to turn around and pick up the deli for, Sunday meal. I had to have my custards. I am very, very well acquainted with the taste of really good custard. This is really good custard. And the flavor that this thing produces is absolutely phenomenal. And as you saw yourself the clouds. It ain't a joke. If you're looking for a really good tank that has great flavor, great cloud production, get this tank. Seriously. I want to thank Maggie over at Steam Crave for sending this on to me for this review. And I would like to say to you, BJ, if you happen to see this, thank you so much for everything that you have done for the community in making these tanks. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for your commitment to the quality that these tanks have. There are other companies out there who started out great and who are now making tanks that are, and drippers and other stuff that are not quite as good a quality as when they first started out, but the quality of the product that Steam Crave is putting out is absolutely phenomenal, and I want to thank you very much for it. You, sir, are a true sensei of the design. And that's all I have to say here on this. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate you stopping in. I have another channel also over on vid.me. Same thing, my vaping place. Unfortunately, they have not given me creator status over there. So this video will not probably be over there on there. I will have to make some sort of a small vlog to point people back here to YouTube, because of the fact that it's going to be just a little too damn long for what they allow. So if you go over to vid.me and you see my channel, please upvote me so I can turn around and follow me and all that kind of good stuff. So that way I can get some status, so I can turn around, I can post these over there as well. Please, just saying. Thank you very much for stopping by. Thank you for listening to my rambling and my ranting. May the rose rise to meet you. May the wind be ever at your back. May the Lord hold you in the hollow of his hand. And may you be in half an hour before the devil knows you're dead. Take care. God bless. Let's have a vape before we hop out. Bye for now. Oh God, that's so good.